Welcome to Monthly Review, the monthly feature in which you and I talk about the best CDs that were released in the previous month. And let me tell you, June was filled with amazing music releases. Let's talk about some and let's, check why they were so awesome. Best of June 2023. So let's talk about how amazing this month is, and I've said it in a couple of reviews that will be dropping or have already dropped on the website. If you haven't checked those, you can do so on THTFHQ.com. And the common denominator in all these reviews and all these CDs that were released was that 80s music is really having a massive influence in the music that is being released. And this month we got many more CDs, many more digital singles that were actually lending elements from 80s music. And then you have the 70s influences with disco and funk, and what you get is usually an interesting mix called new disco. And we had a couple of CDs in the previous month that were all about new disco, and we do have those as well this month. However, let me make a breakdown of the best CDs that I've checked in June 2023. Yuma Uchida with DangeR. Now, Yuma Uchida is currently releasing CDs or digital singles, part of his 5th anniversary single CD series that has kickstarted in the previous month and is now with its 2nd digital single, DangeR, out. And if you have checked DangeR, you will know that this is the very first time that you can actually say with full confidence that Yuma Uchida released a sexy song. And this is unbelievable because up until now fans do get that impression that Yuma Uchida can do a little bit of everything, and he has shown countless times that he can do everything you ask him for. But he had yet to try a concept as intense, as mature, and should I say it, as masculine as this one. This is a concept about desire, or this is a concept that is all about desire. And in DangeR you get that sense of wanting something, wanting someone, and that being forbidden in some way, or the fact that that is forbidden, it only makes that person want that thing or that person even more. So that's a really interesting concept. Well, it is overdone in pop music, but it is something that Yuma Uchida had never done before. And as such, what you get in this performance is something really refreshing. First off, because it is the very first time that Yuma Uchida actually does a concept this sexy. And second of all, it's because the whole instrumental goes in a completely different way from what you can say that is the style of music that Yuma Uchida usually releases. And we get a really interesting mix of drum and bass elements in here with a bit of distorted EDM in there as well, and you have a sound that is a bit glitchy at times. It's really aggressive and kind of choppy here and there, choppy in a good sense, and you then have a really massive bass line going on in there. And that sound, although really layered with a lot of elements going on, managed to make everything sound clear, which is a feat. Because usually when you have lots of elements in a song, and especially in a song like this, an EDM tune, which is really upbeat and makes sure that has lots of elements from synths to bass lines and synth bass lines and everything in between. So it gets really complex and the sound gets really layered to a point that it can get a bit messy to edit and later on to mix it. But what you get in this performance and what you get in this release as a whole is a really good sound that is mixed to a point that you can pick every single element individually in the composition, and then you can also enjoy the voice in the middle of it all. Because the mix was so well done that the bassy elements do not drown his tenor vocals, and then his tenor vocals, although they are not necessarily in full blast at front and center, they do have the spotlight made around them, making sure that you can only look at front and center where he is. So it is really well done in terms of sound composition or sound design, and then its mixing is really well done. Of course, these are really technical things, and most of you will be thinking, what the hell? I just want to enjoy the music. But as a whole, when it comes to the technical part, it is really well done. And as a concept, I do fully enjoy when seiyuu are a bit more daring in their solo careers, especially pop artists such as Yuma Uchida, and they try to tackle the sexy concept. It is one of those concepts that is already considered a classic for pop artists, and it was, I believe, the only concept that was left for him to tackle out of those that are considered the usual concepts used in pop music. The song is really good. I found myself listening to it way too many times. And I can only say that after One Love One and now DangeR, I'm more than excited to listen to many more songs in these digital single CD series, and I believe many of these songs, if not all the songs in this digital single series, will be in the third full-length album Y, which is going to be released in November 2023. It's already confirmed by Yuma Uchida and King Records, so do look forward to that CD. I honestly think that this digital single and all others that will be released in this 5th anniversary digital single series will eventually find their way into that album. If not, then we are going to get not only new songs right now for the digital singles, but also new songs in the full-length album, which would be awesome, but I believe not as realistic as I wished, at least. We move from Yuma Uchida's DangeR to XlamV's Groovy Night, and let me tell you, this is new disco in full bloom. I was incredibly excited as soon as I hit play for this song, because I already knew from the cover art that this was going to be a chill down-tempo song, and what we got was a chill down-tempo song, really going for those massive bass lines from disco music and funk, and cranking those up to the point that you get a new disco, simplistic kind of sound that is so addictive. This is a song that is basically made for the dance floor. You could find it being played on a club. It's that good. It is really made in a way that you could have this being played in a club. So it goes to say that the composition and the focus was on making a song that people, even outside of the fandom, could enjoy. This is the type of song that you would show to people to eventually try to get them into 2D music, because it is really well done, quite simplistic, it is a trendy sound, it is danceable, it is really fun to listen to, and even with the idol concept that not many people may like, but especially those that are not into 2D music, it is a song that you can still enjoy a whole lot, especially because the vocal parts are really well done, well spaced out, everyone gets their time to shine. There are a lot of awesome things going on the vocal end, technical stuff even, and you have the composition made in the way that you can't help but to get into the story that is going on. And even when you get to that specific part within the song, really close to the bridge, in which the song cuts and you feel, well, the song now has ended, right? You hear people walking on the streets, and then the record scratches and goes backwards, and you are back into that night, that groovy night that doesn't end. And I do find it to be such an awesome touch, something that is really not done usually or at all in 2D music, and XlamV's composers basically did that and made the song all the more enjoyable, because when your brain is auto-completing a song, and when you get to that point in which you don't listen to anything, you will assume, well, the song is over, because your brain auto-completed it. However, the composition has a trick for you, and it goes to a cinematic soundscape and then backwards back to the song, and you get that satisfying end to it in the outro. You do not need to do anything fancy, but since the vibe was so good and the song was so steady up until then, you were really feeling the bass line, which is the driving force in this song. Your brain was actually auto-completing it. The song was nearing its end, it would end there. And still, even if you were auto-completing the song in your head as you were listening to it and you get to that end, you do understand that that song ended at a bad place and there should be something more to it, and you get that cinematic soundscape and then the outro. It is quite tasteful what they did there. They play around with your expectations as a listener, and they played around with the fact that people, when they listen to pop music and new disco music, basically the brain starts to auto-complete the song because the melody is really short and repeats itself quite a lot of times. So your brain is actually auto-completing the song and deducing when it is going to end. So playing around with that was quite ingenious. Once again, it is a technical detail that I do enjoy a whole lot to even dive into. But as it goes, if you are not the type of person that pays attention to these types of little details in the song that basically are tasteful and awesome to know about, if you are really a big geek about it, but really doesn't add much to the enjoyment. Either you like it or you don't. In this case, if you are a big fan of chill out, groovy type of songs, this is going to be something that you are going to enjoy. I do know for sure, for me, this song is my favorite from XlamV up until now. From me, it was really good, but Groovy Night really takes the crown for me up until now. We do have XlamV arriving, and XlamV brings a new song, so I do not know if that album or EP is going to bring something really, really unbelievable, because up until now, XlamV have been showing that they are an awesome group. They are really cohesive as a group in terms of their vocal quality, and their sound is really well thought out, which makes me think that the composers are really investing a whole lot into making sure that you enjoy the music, and even people outside of the basically 2D music fandom can enjoy as well. This is the type of music that I would show to anyone that doesn't even know what 2D music is, or doesn't even know who or what are seiyuu. So, awesome song, fully recommend it. If you do not have it on your playlist for this summer, I fully recommend you to do so. This is a song that hasn't left my playlists and will for sure be on the best songs of the year playlist that will be released in December 2023. Now, moving on from Yuma Uchida's DangeR to XlamV's Groovy Night, we go to Tokyo Color Sonic's Recall. This is a compilation album of all the solo songs released so far by all members in the Tokyo Color Sonic franchise. Why am I mentioning these CDs specifically? Because this is a perfect entry point if you are trying to get into Tokyo Color Sonic but you still do not know what to do, and if it is really worth it to put yourself or to dedicate yourself to a franchise such as this one. I believe that the singles that were released up until now, which usually only have one performer per CD, because you do have a unique concept of a singer plus a composer, and that tag team or team will work together in a drama CD, only for you to then get a solo song by that artist which is composed by the composer within the story. And you do have awesome vocals in this franchise. So you do have in here Shoei Chiba, Soma Saito, Shunsuke Takeuchi, Gakuto Kajiwara, and Yuya Hirose. I'm talking about 5 vocals that are unbelievable in terms of quality, as a group and then individually. Yuya Hirose is a new addition. He joined the franchise last year and he hasn't had many opportunities to sing solo up until now. But the other vocals have had their opportunity to sing 2 solo songs, and they have done an unbelievable work so far. My only issue with Tokyo Color Sonic's first CDs is the mixing. It is really, really weak, the mixing, for most songs in the very first CD season, which will encompass the first 5 songs in that CD. But after that, start to notice that there are changes going on in there, and the music quality really went up, and the mixing really got a bit better. And right now, as we now finished the digital solo CD series, you can check those digital singles and you can check how unbelievable the quality right now is. This group, or this franchise as a whole, has improved a whole lot, especially in the mixing, which was their weakest point. Believe it or not, it was not the story, it was not the characters, it was not the performances, it was the mixing. The final part of everything was what was basically hindering its quality. Right now I believe that this franchise is well worth for you to check it out. Of course, as all franchises, the first CDs usually aren't that amazing, but as you grow with the groups, and in this case with the members, you start noticing differences, you start to notice the quality going up and the performances getting even more exciting. The good thing about Tokyo Color Sonic is that you are not tied to a specific music genre. You do have pop, rock, hip-hop, you have lo-fi, you have everything in here. It's just a question of seeing or checking which is the vocal that clicks the best with you, or which are the songs that click the best with you. If you are trying to get into Tokyo Color Sonic, I more than recommend you to check the CD, Recall, which is the perfect entry point to this franchise. After all, this is the summary of the first 2 CD seasons for the franchise, and now the groups are kicking off their 3rd CD season, and hopefully it will bring awesome songs along the way. And these are all my impressions about the best CDs released in June 2023. Now it's time to check your opinions about the best CDs released in June 2023, and we have participation. It's unwelcome, so welcome again and welcome. I will never get tired of saying this because this is quite hilarious, because your name is the complete opposite of what I want to do right here, which is to welcome you. You said, XlamV's Groovy Night hit my face with an amazing song. I didn't expect something so good. Indeed, XlamV's Groovy Night is unbelievable. I was not expecting anything like that, although as soon as I saw those teaser images, I felt that yes, we are going to get a song that is loungy. For starters, it is going to be loungy. So what can this 7-member group do with the loungy concept? They can go city pop or nu disco. Those were my 2 guesses, and thankfully I did get those right. They did go the nu disco route, and we did get a song that is so chill but yet so groovy and danceable that it is pleasing to the ears. You want to hear more, you want to have that playing as a loop in the background, even if you have that disruptive part close to the end in which you are taken to outside before you are dragging back in to the party to enjoy that groovy night. It is a song that is so amazing, unbelievably good, and with a quality that could be basically played in a club and you wouldn't notice the difference to the quality of all other songs that are really made for the dance floor. So thank you very much for your participation and welcome, and that's an awesome choice and one that is well worth checking out. Well, time for monthly choice, which is that corner in which I recommend you songs to check, because those don't leave my head because I have been either reviewing music or I am too bored to do anything else and I am revisiting songs that I love a whole lot. So this time around I bring you a couple of new songs because I have been reviewing a lot of music as of late. And finally I got to review some songs that I was quite excited about, and thankfully that excitement was met with high quality music, which is a delight for me because there's nothing more frustrating than than being quite expectant and quite excited about the release, and then that release ends up being quite frustrating to me because of a drop in quality or a less than optimal performance. In this case, I bring you 3 songs that impressed me a whole lot and that deserve an opportunity for you to check them as well as for me to talk about them. Still on the topic of Tokyo Color Sonic, I bring you Gunjou by Arashi, which is voiced by Shoichiba. Gunjou easily has one of the best bass lines I've heard in years. It is crazy. I've been saying this time and time again this year, but it seems that with each release that I check, there's a new awesome bass line in there for me to actually geek about. And this time around, it is Gunjou's bass line and drums combo that actually left me with my mouth ajar. It is crazy good how that snare sounds like and how that slap bassline accents with the beat work. It is crazy that work in there. That's percussion side, or that groovy side of the song, it is unbelievable. And when you are listening to it, the song actually starts off quite differently from usual. You are expecting rock music from Arashi, and then you get an ethereal EDM style of song that is more chill out than anything else, and it is quite the curveball that the franchise throws at you, especially when you have expectations based on the type of character or in previous work that they have done. But it is a really pleasant surprise. I was not expecting at all to go to dance music, and what we got in here was unbelievable. It is crazy good, that snare and slap bass combo. I've actually purchased the digital single through Ototoy, which is to say I have a lossless version of that song, which has a different quality from what you can hear, for example, on Apple Music or Spotify. And that quality, which is basically closest to studio quality, is ridiculous. That bassline and snare combo goes really hard in that quality. It is unbelievable. I do fully recommend you, usually, if you are the type of person that loves to go into detail on the songs and you love to feel like you are in a studio or closest to the true quality of the music and the clarity of the instruments, I always welcome you to check and try to buy the lossless versions or the studio versions of the songs if available. Usually Ototoy, which is an online downloads website which has licensed music, and everything that you basically purchase there, you are actually supporting your favorite 2D music projects and seiyuu artists if they are there. The quality that you have in there is unbelievable. You can experience a song in a completely different way, although it is the very same song that you can catch on Apple Music or even on Spotify. So if you are the type of person like me that you love to geek about music and you do love to go the extra mile to experience the song almost as if you are within or in that studio, then I do fully recommend you to get the lossless version. I do fully recommend you to check it, especially because not only do you have one of the grooviest yet most down-tempo songs in the Tokyo Color Sonic franchise, but you also have a performance by Shoichiba that is unbelievable. Yet again, an adjective that I was not expecting to say so many times within a video, but well, here I am doing that. Shoichiba is performing in a different style than usual. He is more dramatic than ever, and I do find this to be quite interesting. This is something that he has been changing as a singer himself, and you are noticing that in all 2D groups he's a part of. His performances since he joined the Visual Prison franchise have been quite dramatic, and he now is bringing much more power to his performances and a little bit of theatricality in there, and I believe that many of that you can attribute to him now being under the wings of Makoto Furukawa and Toshiki Masuda, who are basically two singers that are quite dramatic in their styling for many of the 2D groups they are a part of. That's two people that he has around that have been influencing his style of singing, and we only have to thank them for that. Shuechiba is really growing before our eyes, and in this performance Gunjou is amazing. You need to really listen to this song to fully grasp how ethereal the instrumental is while being insanely groovy and incisive with its drumming, but also to notice just how dramatic, just how beautiful is Shuechiba's performance. So I do fully recommend you to check Arashi's Gunjou. Then you have Riku and TENN with Incomplete Ruler. I know some of you were suggesting me to check this song. Some of you actually sent in comments saying that this song is unbelievable, and last month I did get to check this song and it's unbelievable. I was not expecting this duet song to be this good, and Kensho Ono and Soma Saito to work so well together vocally. Of course, we do know the relationship. If you are a fan of the Idolish 7 franchise, you do know the relationship between Riku and TENN as twins and the way they interact with each other. But this was the very first time that they actually sang together, and this is ridiculously good. Ridiculously good. I'm not even going to try to spoil this song for you. Just go check it. If you are not a fan of the Idolish 7 franchise, and you are still curious about it, do expect something really unbelievable in here in terms of the quality on the vocal end. I was not expecting them to go so technical for this performance, and yet here we are. If you do have the time to check it, do check Incomplete Ruler by Riku and TENN, okay? And then we have Executioner, and let me check the title because this title is long as hell. It's Executioner's V-Kei Sentai Executioner. This is a new project, Executioner. It is all about visual kei rock music, authentic visual kei rock music. So for a change, we do have a concept that actually works really well when it comes to visual kei music. Of course, we do have Magatsu Note that is actually trying and actually it's not trying, they have been tackling visual kei music, but I still feel like that concept is a little bit all over the place when it comes to approaching visual kei music. Now, I can't also say something really concrete about Executioner because we only have one song to assess their quality so far, but so far this is a really awesome starting point for this franchise. They really started with everything they could, and in this song Executioner, the franchise is represented by the 3 main vocals, or the vocals for each of the 3 bands within the franchise, and those vocals come from Masaki Mizunaka, Jin Ogasawara, and Shunichi Toki. They are unbelievable in here. Now, let me get this thing straight. I'm not really familiar with Masaki Mizunaka as a singer, so this was the very first time that I listened to him performing, and I was impressed. It is really good when I come across a new seiyuu, not necessarily because they are new, but they are new to me, and I come across the seiyuu and I actually am surprised. I do love those surprises, and I do love to find new talents even if they are no longer rookies. And in this case, Mizunaka showed that he has a lot of power and a lot of confidence to perform a song such as this one. This is quite the aggressive and intense song, let me tell you. So I was impressed with how he was driving the song forward and really matching the intensity and the aggression that you had in the instrumental. Of course, the most impressive thing about this song, besides the fact that the song is really, really good and you could really have a professional visual kei artist performing on top of it, and this song would be a banger. But I'll basically, aside from that, The most impressive thing in here is Jin Ogasawara. Once again, Jin Ogasawara shows that he is a fantastic singer. And when I say fantastic singer, I'm also talking about a fantastic screamo singer. And he kicks off this song in screamo. He goes on to add screamo here and there as Mizunaka and Toki actually go back and forth with their parts, basically. And whenever it feels right within this song, he appears with a screamo part. So it's not just a feature to impress people, it is something that is going through a song, and Ogasawara is actually performing screamo from start basically to finish, but there are a couple of parts in which he actually comes forward and he is actually or either singing cleanly or rapping, because also there is a little bit of rapping going on in here, as this V-Kei rock tune has a sort of an intermission that brings trap music into the song. That trap part is actually only 15 seconds long, so it doesn't take too much of the song, doesn't disrupt it, and makes it so that you can feel those emotions and that intensity slowing down a bit before cranking up yet again the tempo and going all out yet again. It is quite the exciting song. I want to watch this song being performed live, especially with a live band, but this would be asking too much. But still, I would love for this song to be performed live, and I would love to watch this song being performed live with a live band. As it is, the Executioner franchise is showing everything I need for me to at least be invested in it. The quality of the music, the very few members that sing in this project also give me that hope that this project won't end up being almost like an idol project covered with the V-Kei stamp just for the giggles. So in this case, the focus would be on having vocalists in the band, and then all the other cast members will participate in the drama parts that will be dropping, I believe, soon. So I do enjoy what they are doing right now. I do hope they continue to do so, but only time will tell if they turn into a Visual Prison style of V-Kei project, and it's basically an idol project covered with or under the guise of being a V-Kei project, or they end up being like Magatsu Note and they do not have that much direction towards what they want to do musically. So only time will tell if this project will actually hold up. I do hope the project actually holds up. And for fans of V-Kei music like myself, or V-Kei rock music like myself, if you are a fan of V-Kei rock music, you now have to appreciate the fact that there are a lot of V-Kei rock music projects going on out there. You have Magatsu Note, you have Visual Karma, well, they are not releasing music, but they are still there. You have Visual Prison, they now are quiet, but they still have music, and some of the songs are really good. And now you have Executioner. We never had these many 2D V-Kei rock projects at once. It is quite amazing. Executioner's V-Kei Sentai Executioner ended up impressing me. The title continues to be really long for me to remember, but still, it is quite the awesome song, and I do fully hope that they release something really amazing next. Here, and I noticed that Unwelcome, you do have a recommendation of a CD that everyone should basically check, and you bring Daybreak by Sparklu. In this case, the album Daybreak of Sparklu. When I met this group or project, I was surprised by the great style that this album has, something similar I would hear from other types of artists without getting too excited. However, here, every song has a special touch. Also, it was the last participation of Shoichiba in the group, just when I met them. It hurt a little. My favorite is Alarm, that sound dreaming and striking, and Room Vacation, a chill song where the rap slays. Anyway, almost every song is my favorite for some reason. Yes, Sparklu's Daybreak was actually the very first time that I reviewed a CD by Sparklu. It was also the very first and last time that I listened to Shoichiba performing with Sparklu, which ends up being unfortunate. But still, that's the first time that I saw and got to hear basically to a seiyuu unit trying to become an idol group, really a real idol group. Their sound is uncannily similar to a K-pop artist or a K-pop group. And at that time I remember watching the music video and thinking, yeah, they can, if they want, break into a different market. They can stop basically being a seiyuu unit and becoming an idol group with members who happen to be seiyuu. So I felt at that time that Kiramune had all the cards in their hands to make Sparklu become something really amazing, something really incredibly popular, I would believe, in Asia. But they didn't take that chance, which is weird, but in hindsight they already knew that Shoichiba was leaving, so the only people that didn't know that Shoichiba was leaving was us, the fans. So it was a bit unfortunate for that to happen, but still that CD is filled with highlights. For me it would be Criminal by Shoichiba and Aoshigure by Shun Horie as the two best songs in that CD. And I have to thank, I don't remember the people that suggested those songs to me to review in the Review Advent Calendar series, but it was thanks to them that I actually ended up checking this CD, and I fell in love with it instantaneously. I've said it before that I'm not a fan of bubbly pop style of music, and Sparklu up until then were a bubbly style of group. And I was not that big of a fan of many of the members of the group up until then. So I was not clicking with their music and I was avoiding reviewing them because I do not like to review music just to talk bad about the music. If I found that the CD is bad or that a group is not to my liking, I do not review, because why am I trying to review something negatively when I could be, I don't know, quiet about it. So I tried to avoid reviewing Sparklu's music for a long time because I was not into their music, but they wanted to change their concept, and they did boldly change their concept in Daybreak, and what we got in there was a mature group with a really masculine sound, and all members releasing solo songs, some of them even writing lyrics to their songs. It is worth mentioning that Shoichiba wrote the lyrics in English to his song. He didn't have anyone translating those. He did write the lyrics in English by himself and performed in English, of course, with the mixed quality in his English, but it's amazing what he did in there, regardless of pronunciation or anything else. So what Shoichiba did in there, writing his lyrics in English, performing in English, and doing the best that he could in a song that was that stylish, I believe it is commendable what he did in there, and how amazing that song is. Aoshigure is a really good example why Shun Horie should make a solo debut. Of course, Criminal by Shoichiba, it's the very same thing. It is a song that made me wish he got a solo debut, because that voice shouldn't be quiet. That voice should be resonating. But everyone else in the group was impressing me a whole lot. Alarm is a really good song, and even the ballads, I do find that CD to be impressive. From time to time I press play on that CD and I do not skip a single thing in there, so you can already tell that this CD is really, really good. So thank you very much for your participation and welcome, and let's move on to the next section. This episode is sponsored by all the Hand That Feeds HQ's patrons on Patreon. A big thank you for the support. It's time for Music in the Horizon, and this time around, well, let's check the music that is going to be released in July 2023, and let me tell you, the CD that I am most excited about is Makoto Furukawa's Place Your Bets. I make my case in here. This is going to be a fantastic CD. It is Makoto Furukawa yet again writing lyrics to his songs. It is Satoru Kuwabara back again to composing music and not only to produce Makoto Furukawa's albums, so it is going to be unbelievable. We will talk next month when the the monthly review July 2023 episode drops, but I believe this is going to be a CD that I will be praising a whole lot. Fingers crossed that it actually happens. And then we have Tetsuya Kakihara's Warateite. It's Tetsuya Kakihara. What else can I say about these? We already know the quality that he always brings to his music, and it basically has been impressing me a whole lot for almost 5 years, I believe so. And so far I am looking forward to every single release that he puts out. So Warateite is a CD that I'm really looking forward to checking and see if it continues to bring that maturity and that high quality, both in the performances and in the instrumentals that Tetsuya Kakihara has been delivering in the past couple of years. Then we have Lolodi with Nothing. Since the previous release by Lolodi was not as impressive as I would have loved, I'm looking forward to Nothing be more impressive, or at least being more cohesive in terms of its quality. I do not know what to expect. Yet again, the only thing that is for certain is that Lolodi is a dramatic, lyrical style of group. They can do rock, they can do a bit of EDM, they can do orchestral, so I do not know what we will get in the instrumental, beyond the fact that it will be dramatic. Other than that, I'm looking forward to the CD. I love Lolodi, I love their vocals, and this continues to be one of those groups that I look forward to the most, even with their hiccups when they happen, which is rarely, but I do look forward to this group a whole lot, and I want Nothing to be an unbelievable CD. Let's hope so. And then, because I've already mentioned 3 CDs, I'm going to mention really quickly that I'm looking forward to Houndroar, Ruby Leopard, Impish Crow, and also Gyroaxia, that will be going to release 2 digital singles. About Gyroaxia, I'm quite excited about these because it's been a long time since the group has released music. At least, I believe, perhaps I missed a single or 2 digital, in digital version, but I believe not. But still, it's been a long time since I heard new music from this band, and it has been so long since I last heard new music from this group and this band, and it has been a long time since they released the physical CD. I do not know why the band isn't releasing a new full-length album or an EP or a physical single, and why they are going to release digital singles. I do not know that. Universal Music Japan will know that much better than I do. But it is a pity to have a band such as this one with so much quality being this quiet for so long. Doesn't make any sense to me, but still, I'm looking forward to their music because I do love Gyroaxia. So I'm looking forward to them impressing me yet again with their aggressive style of rock and awesome vocals. Houndroar and basically Ruby Leopard and Impish Crow, the franchise, the Dig Rock franchise, is kicking off a new CD series, and this time around we are going to get a couple of digital singles as well as physical CDs, and these will be quite interesting to check. This is always a franchise that I look forward to a lot. They have a high quality in their music as well as on the vocals. On the vocal end, we have 3 leading bands, Houndroar, Ruby Leopard and Impish Crow. The vocals are Toshiyuki Toyanaga, Makoto Furukawa and Yuma Uchida. 3 out of the 5 best currently 5 best singers among male seiyuu are in this project, which is crazy. The Dig Rock franchise is putting a lot of effort in releasing awesome music, and all bands have showing a lot of growth and maturity with each CD. So if you are a fan of rock music, or if you love, well, when I say rock music, if you are a fan of acid jazz, rock, hard rock, emo rock, or even punk or power pop, this franchise is for you. This franchise has all these sub-music genres within rock music. So if you are a big fan of those, do look forward to these CDs. So the CDs that I look forward to the most in July 2023 are Tetsuya Kakihara's Warateite, Makoto Furukawa's Place Your Bets, and Lolodi Nothing. And that's all for my most expected or most anticipated CDs for July 2023. Now it's time to ask Vanessa, and this time around we do not have a question in here. And I do not have anything new to talk about Soma Saito because it's still a long way until he releases new music. So until that happens, I will be waiting a little bit. But on an exciting piece of news, we have Yuma Uchida announcing the release of his full-length album, his third full-length album, Why, in November, which leads me to say that the last 2 months of the year are going to be intense. I don't know if you guys remember, but early on in this year I created a really short video, and then I expanded upon that with a podcast episode about the CDs that will or may be released in 2023 and why 2023 will end up being a really exciting year. So, what did I expect in there? Many of the seiyuu, the most anticipated male seiyuu artists, still, or most of them hadn't released albums in the previous year. Others tend to release EPs every year, or others try to be active by releasing a single every year. But I was expecting some of the heavyweights or the heavyweights among male seiyuu artists to actually release new albums this year. Of course, for me, a person that actually purchases the physical CDs, it is a sign that my wallet will be crying a whole lot. Because, well, I will be supporting by purchasing the physical CDs. That's the least that I, as a fan, can do, which is basically to support the music that I love and that I listen to time and time again. I was expecting many seiyuu to actually be active this year, and some have already said that they are going to release a full-length album, which is the case of Shota Woi and Toshiki Toyonaga. We do not know when those CDs will be released because there is no release date for both. Now we had Yuma Uchida confirming that he's going to release a full-length album, Why, in November, which is a rare time for him to release an album. We did have a hint by Soma Saito that he's going to release new music up until the end of the year, which is usually going to be December. I'm betting December, because if he goes in November, that month will be crazy. At the same time, I'm expecting anything from Mamoru Miyano up until the end of the year, but then again, he doesn't release albums with much frequency. He's more consistent with singles, so he may release a new single by the end of the year or closest to the end of the year. I also anticipate Makoto Furukawa to announce during his live show in November, his first in-person live show in November, he's going for sure to announce his second full-length album, and that second full-length album will only be released in 2024, perhaps in February or March. So that's an anticipation, that's not even confirmed. This is only speculation on my part, so do not get your hopes up whenever I say that I hope or I expect. It's because it is not confirmed. Then we have Toshiki Masuda. He's not active as of late. It's been over a year since he released Midnight Dancer, and he's not active. Only God knows what he is doing, or what he wants to do music-wise. Honestly, after Origin, I do want more, but at the same time, I do not know if he wants to do more. That's weird, but still. Looking forward to see if he releases new music by the end of the year, but then again, I do not know if he is ever going to release music this year. Perhaps next year, I do not know. He's really irregular in that, so you can't really predict like I was predicting right now with Makoto Furukawa or Soma Saito. You cannot predict anything with Toshiki Masuda because I believe his mindset is not necessarily in his music, so he doesn't pay that much attention to that, which is a pity. At the same time, I would love for Kotaro Nishiyama and Gakuto Kajiwara to release their first full-length albums this year. Same thing with Jin Ogasawara. I'm more inclined to believe that Gakuto Kajiwara may announce something by the end of or at least to be released by the end of this year, but Kotaro Nishiyama has been quiet for a long time, and Jin Ogasawara continues to release digital singles, which doesn't necessarily bode well for the chances for him to release a full-length album. So I do not know what to expect with Kotaro Nishiyama and Jin Ogasawara, but only time will tell. I will be expecting, of course, as a fan, I will be expecting those CDs to drop soon, or first being announced and then to drop soon, but I do not know what to expect in here, for sure. Who may or may not release more music this year? I was expecting Gran Rodeo to announce an album. They are going to release a single. It's not necessarily that is frustrating to get the new single, but still, I was expecting a new album. I do love Gran Rodeo a whole lot, and I was hoping they would be releasing a full-length album. We still have a couple of months until the end of the year. We do not know if they are going to actually release something that is full-length, or at least an EP. Gyroboxia, I said it a couple of minutes ago. I am expecting them to release new music, but then again, Universal Music Japan is not betting that much on them, but still I want a new CD, so I do not know how to manage my expectations in here. I want them to release a new CD. I do not know if they are going to release a new CD. That's sad in a way. On another note, I do know that last year the Dear Vocalist franchise was active until the very end of the year, but I am expecting at least the franchise to announce something new in August. Let's hope they do. If they don't, it's going to be a big problem for me, because this is a franchise this is my favorite franchise, and they have not been active as of late. It is really weird to have a year in which you do not have a Dear Vocalist CD being released in the first quarter of the year. So it was really weird what was happening, and what is happening actually. So I'm expecting the franchise to come to life during this summer and perhaps announce something for 2024, and this was a skip year to, I do not know, maybe regroup and assess what to do next with the characters. But I'm looking forward to the franchise. I do believe this is one of the best franchises that we have in terms of 2D music, and when it comes to rock music, this is the best one so far. Also, the Tsuki Pro franchise is releasing the Anokoro no Bokura wa My Dear Day CD series. I do hope that we get something different announced by the end of the year. It's not that I am not enjoying the CDs, but I was expecting to hear more group songs, and a year without group songs sounds weird. We are not getting an X-Slide series, we are not getting anything in the same vein of the Kachu Fugetsu series, so it is kind of weird to have a solo series and not having anything in parallel with the groups releasing music. So it is a bit weird to me. At the same time, Idolish 7, I would love for... I'm a massive fan of Trigger, in case you do not know. I would love for Trigger to release a new CD by the end of the year, but that may not happen. It may be just a single by each group in the franchise until the end of the year. Still, there's a lot of possibilities for awesome music to be released by the end of the year or until the end of the year, and I'm looking forward to it a whole lot. Now, if we look to the quality of the music released in the previous 6 months, I should say that starting from April, things started to pick up in terms of the quality, and as I said when I started this episode, it is noticeable how much 80s music is basically influencing the music that is being released so far. And many of the songs that were released so far, they can fit really well in a summer playlist. They are really perfect for that. They are loungy, chill out, groovy, with basically with massive bass lines. They are really, really addictive, and I do enjoy those a whole lot. I sure hope the rest of the year has music with an equal level of quality, and that we basically can have those awesome, warm, groovy vibes until the end of the year. It would be quite amazing to have a full year that is all about groovy style of music, new disco, and city pop. It would be really, really, really awesome. So basically, to wrap up this episode, you get a bit of an overview of the music releases that could or may drop by the end of the year, some of my expectations as well as some of my worries. Of course, as a big fan of 2D music and male seiyuu artists, I'm looking forward to listening to more music. I will always want more music. That's the selfish part of being a fan. You always want more. But I also am pretty sure that the longer we wait for some artists and some to the groups, the better their music will be when they arrive. So I'm willing to wait as long as I will be getting my music soon. So that's my thing in here. And while I am contradicting myself saying that I will wait but I want now, let's wrap up this episode, and I hope that you enjoyed the music released in June 2023 and you are looking forward to the music that will be released this month, because this episode is being posted on July 2023. I do hope that you are looking forward to the music and you are enjoying the music released this month and you enjoyed the previous month. And we will be talking soon when the next episode drops. Thank you very much to Unwelcome for participating in this episode, and as always, if you want to share your impressions about your favorite CDs in each given month, do not miss out on participating by sharing that or those impressions in the form that I share on social media every week throughout the month. So there's that reminder, as well as the big reminder that if you enjoyed this episode, do not miss anything that I'm going to release next. So do subscribe and give a like, because that helps this channel growing and perhaps reach more people and basically share this love about 2D music and male seiyuu artists with many more people out there. Do enjoy your summer, if you are actually enjoying your summer. I for sure am. And we will be talking soon. Thanks for watching.